Today, let's learn about your angina pectoris, or simply your angina. Angina is one of the most common pathophysiologies of your heart na tinatanong sa board exam, guys, whether PNLE or NCLEX or any foreign exams. So if you want to learn more about angina pectoris, stick until the end of this video kasi this will be a full course lecture for your angina pectoris. The word itself, guys, angina, means chest pain in layman's term. And the reason is because there is poor circulation to the muscle part of the heart. And that's your myocardium, the muscular layer of the heart, the one responsible when the heart contracts and relaxes. That's your myocardium. In medicine, we term the poor circulation or poor oxygenation to the heart muscles as ischemia. Yan yung medical term niya, ischemia. Which is precisely the reason why you get angina or chest pain. Kasi konti lang ang oxygenation sa cardiac muscles or sa myocardium, the muscular layer of the heart. The core principle here is merong mataas na demand sa myocardium mo or sa heart mo to pump blood pero mababa ang supply or circulation in your myocardium itself. So, angina, simply put, mataas ang demand ng tissues or ng katawan mo or ng heart itself to get proper circulation, to get proper oxygenation, pero mababa ang supply, konti lang ang circulation na pumupunta sa heart. Kasi ang usapan dito, it's because of poor circulation in the myocardium or the muscle layer of the heart. And bakit nangyayari yung demand and supply problem in angina? Isipin mo lang guys, kailan ba tumataas ang demand sa puso ng tao? During activity. Pag ikaw ay may ginagawa, mas kailangang bumomba ng puso mo ng blood para magkaroon ng circulation ng vital organs para magawa ang activity. But the problem is, yung bomba mismo, yung puso mismo, kulang ng supply ng blood. Precisely the characterization of angina na meron kang poor oxygenation sa myocardium. Kasi kailan ba nagkakaroon ng O2 supply ang myocardium mo, ang muscle layer ng heart mo? It only happens during relaxation. So, the more the heart cannot relax because the heart needs to pump and pump and pump blood because there is increase in demand, because there is activity going on, the more the supply of the myocardium will go down in terms of oxygenation and circulation. Kasi kailan lang nagkakaroon ng circulation or oxygenation ang myocardium? During relaxation lang. And sino ba yung minimin natin na blood vessel responsible for the circulation of the myocardium? That's your coronary artery. Kasi guys, yung puso mo, kaya niyang bigyan ng dugo ang ibang vital organs and siya rin mismo ang nagbibigay ng dugo sa sarili niya. And tingnan mo yan, during contraction, your myocardium or your heart is able to give blood to the rest of the body. It's only during relaxation that the myocardium receives its portion of blood. Now, if your heart cannot relax, if lagi siyang tachycardic, if laging may ongoing activity, if laging may demand for the myocardium to pump and pump and pump, the myocardium cannot relax, the myocardium cannot get proper circulation. That's when angina pectoris happens. You get a demand and supply problem, you end up with chest pain. Chest pain, also known as your angina. And the reason is because of ischemia, poor circulation in the cardiac muscles, in the muscular layer of the heart, in your myocardium. Again, please take note, it's a demand and supply problem. Now, I want to emphasize ang mga triggers kung kailan ba talaga nagkakaroon ng chest pain ang pasyenteng may angina pectoris. This happens when 5 E's happens or the triggers of your angina pectoris. So guys, easy lang to. Just think excessive activity tulad ng kaka-explain ko lang, This one can increase the demand on the muscles to work hard, yung muscles sa heart mo. And at the same time, may supply problem tayo kapag tachycardic ang puso mo. Hindi nakaka-relax, walang circulation. Next, pag ikaw ay kumain ng heavy meal. When you eat a heavy meal, the circulation will focus on your gastrointestinal tract in order to digest the food that you have eaten, which is a heavy meal. Can that also cause chest pain? Yes, because that can promote a supply and demand imbalance in the myocardium. And next, kapag there is excessive stress sa katawan mo, physical, emotional, those kind of stress, they can increase the cardiac demand and therefore decrease the cardiac supply of the myocardium. Meron pa, and that's your excessive smoking. Take note, ang effect ng sigarilyo sa iyong katawan is pinapatakicardic niya ang puso mo. Tama? It will increase your heart rate. And lastly guys, kapag ikaw ay na-expose to cold, why? Bakit? Kasi kapag malamig ang environment, what happens to the blood vessels of the body? They will vasoconstrict. And kapag naka-vasoconstrict ang blood vessels, including the blood vessels that supply your myocardium of circulation, which is your coronary arteries, will they also vasoconstrict when there is cold or exposure to cold? Yes. And when that happens, guys, it will also decrease the supply in the myocardium. So that will also promote chest pain. So just remember, all of these, they increase cardiac workload or the demands for the myocardium to pump blood harder to circulate it to the vital organs, which can in turn cause your chest pain. Your chest pain also known as your angina. Tama? Yes. Now, let's look at the types of angina. Guys, this is very simple. Meron lang tayong 4 types of angina. Let's start with number 1, and that's your stable angina. When you say stable angina, this is also known as your exertional angina, as your classic angina. Ito yung classic presentation ng angina mo, which is a chest pain that is predictable. Why predictable? Kasi it will happen during your triggers, which is your 5 E's. So, pag nangyari ang 5 E's, you get chest pain, you call that your stable angina. How do you treat that? How do you manage stable angina? The best nursing management is rest. Allow the patient to sit on a chair, sit on the bench, sit on the floor, or lie the patient down on the bed, whichever is more convenient at the moment of chest pain. And next, can you also give your nitroglycerin? Yes. Next kind of angina, number 2. That's your unstable angina. Pag sinabi mong unstable angina, guys, this one is also known as your pre-infarction. When you say pre-infarction, this one is the closest to myocardial infarction. Kumbaga, etong si unstable angina, if you leave it untreated, can it become a myocardial infarction? Yes, kaya nga pre-infarction tawag natin sa kanya. It's also known as your crescendo. So, yan yung mga pangalan niya sa birth certificate. So, ano yan? This one, it is characterized as an unpredictable chest pain. Hindi mo alam kung kailan siya mangyayari kasi it can happen even the patient is at rest or the patient is exposed to 5 E's, which are the triggers of your angina. So, yan si pre-infarction, crescendo, yan si unstable angina. But the treatment, will it be the same with your stable angina? Yes. So, bibigyan mo lang siya ng rest and bibigyan mo lang siya ng nitroglycerin. And then the next one, number 3, this one is your variant angina. So, pag sinabi mong variant angina, guys, that one is also known as your Prinzmetal angina, Prinzmetal. So, from the letter V, variant, the cause is vasospasm. Vasospasm. vasospasm or the narrowing of your coronary arteries. The one that supplies blood to the myocardium, remember? So pag nag-narrow yan, will that create a demand and supply problem? Yes, kasi if the arteries are narrowed, mas mahirap pumasok yung blood pag narrow ang artery. So mas mababa ang circulation towards the myocardium. Okay? So guys, vasospasm, narrowing of the coronary arteries, why? The reason is because of the influx or increase in the electrolyte calcium in the myocardium, in the coronary arteries. So pag dumami si calcium dyan, it can cause vasospasm. That's the kind of angina you call your variant angina. So V invariant means vasospasm caused by the electrolyte calcium. Don't forget. And so, what's the treatment? If it's calcium, then you block calcium, you remove calcium. Tama? Para ma-solve mo yung problem sa variant angina. So, correct ka. Kung ang iniisip mo ay bibigyan natin siya ng calcium channel blockers. This one is an antihypertensive medication kasi it can remove calcium there and it can promote vasodilation. This one ends in dipines, the medication that ends in dipines like your amlodipine, like your nicardipine. Yan, si calcium channel blockers given to the patient with variant angina. And ano yung gusto kong i-emphasize dito guys? Since it's the one that is because of vasospasm, this can happen even at rest. Even when the patient is at rest. When calcium is there, vasospasm can happen, your variant angina can happen. So give your calcium channel blockers to solve the problem in variant angina. And the last type of angina, number 4, that's your silent angina. This one, from the word itself, silent, tahimik lang. Yan yung no chest pain. Walang nararamdaman na pain ang pasyente mo. Pero kapag nilagay mo ang patient mo sa electrocardiogram or sa cardiac monitor, what will you observe? If it's silent angina, you will see T-wave inversion, a change in the electrocardiogram. Di ba normally the T-wave of the patient should be deflected upwards. But if it's T-wave inversion, the deflection of the T-wave is going downwards. So yan guys, when you see T-wave inversion in the electrocardiogram, that one will indicate the zone of ischemia or simply put, presence ng ischemia saan? Sa puso ng pasyente mo. And paano ba natin kinaracterize ang angina pectoris? Is it ischemia in the myocardium? Yes, kasi kulang sa supply ng oxygenation, nagkaroon ng ischemia. Decrease in circulation is the cause of ischemia, correct? Yes, so T-wave inversion is because of the presence of ischemia. So yan, in the presence of ischemia in the myocardium, is that angina pectoris? Yes, but in the absence of chest pain, tapos may T-wave inversion ka, that's your silent angina, no? Maganda sana siya kasi walang chest pain. But it's scary kasi it can be left undetected. So yan, T-wave inversion. And ano ang treatment niyan, guys? It's the same. You rest the patient as the best nursing management, and then you give your nitroglycerin. Okay? Now, let's look at the signs and symptoms of your angina pectoris. So, ito guys, sobrang dali lang nito. Since this is angina pectoris and angina means chest pain, ang number 1 na sign natin is no other than your chest pain. Tama? Which also means angina. Correct? Yes. So, when we say chest pain in angina, how is it characterized? The location is described to be retrosternal, sa likod ng sternum, sa likod ng breastbone. Precisely the location of your heart. Tama? Yes. If hindi mo makita ang term na retrosternal, it's the same with the word substernal. Sa likod pa rin ng sternum. Okay? And guys, it radiates to the left part of the body. Kasi yung heart natin, anatomically, it's tilted towards the left. Tama? Yes. Kaya yung radiation ng pain sa angina pectoris towards the left. So the patient will feel the pain sa neck, sa left jaw, sa left shoulder, sa left arms, sa left back, okay? Yun ang radiation ng pain kapag angina pectoris ang usapan. Substernal or retrosternal, and then tilted towards the left or radiating towards the left. That's characteristic of angina pectoris. And ito pa guys, ang gusto kong i-emphasize, it is unlocalized. Hindi niya ma-pinpoint directly kung saan talaga sa chest niya ang masakit. Pero alam niya deep in the chest, masakit ang kanyang puso. Okay? Masakit ang kanyang chest. Ganun ang reklamo ng pasyente na may angina pectoris. Guys, why is this important na unlocalized yung pain sa angina pectoris? Kasi pag cardiac of origin yan, unlocalized yan. Kasi ang heart mo beneath, behind, sa likod ng breastbone mo, sa likod ng sternum mo. Okay? That's how you differentiate the pain caused by a cardiac of origin and the pain na pulmonary in origin, guys. Kasi some patients will say chest pain yan, but the cause is pulmonary. And if it's pulmonary, that's the kind of pain that you can localize on the chest caused by coughing. Sumasakit yung muscles ng chest. So, point niya yung pain kasi yung muscle ng chest yung sumasakit because of the prolonged and persistent coughing. That's pulmonary in origin. Pero to say if it's cardiac, if it's angina pectoris, if it's myocardial infarction, the pain is unlocalized. It's deep-seated within the chest. Okay? And then guys, a very important point, kapag ang patient mo ay older, adult, they will present not with chest pain na retrosternal and substernal, but rather complaints of epigastric pain. It's the pain na para bang indigestion. Where? In what age group? Specifically, older adults. Mga matatanda, the pain will present as an epigastric pain. Sometimes they will complain it feels like indigestion. Kaya, pag nag-complain ng epigastric pain or indigestion, ang matanda, ang older adult, attach them to an electrocardiogram to see if it's cardiac of origin. Kasi yan ang usual presentation ng chest pain, ng angina, and worse, ng myocardial infarction sa older adults. So, epigastric pain and indigestion complaints from older adults, consider it cardiac of origin. Okay? And then ano pa guys, ang characteristic ng pain or ng chest pain sa angina pectoris. If the patient describes the kind of pain, it is usually mild to moderate pain, tolerable levels. And when you ask them of the quality of the pain, they will say it's vice-like. It's like my chest is being squeezed, vice-like pain. And ano pa, chest that appears to be tight, tightness of the chest. Ano pa, heaviness of the chest. Those are characteristic or qualities of pain in angina pectoris. And then ano pa guys, this is important. Put it on a star. The pain is relieved by nitroglycerin and rest. Angina pectoris is relieved by nitroglycerin and rest. If the pain is unrelieved by nitroglycerin and rest, that's probably myocardial infarction. Okay? That's why it's important. Put this on a star na if relieved by nitroglycerin and rest, that's characteristic of angina pectoris. If not, that may be an ongoing myocardial infarction. And ano pa guys, another star. Please, please take note, it is just less than 15 minutes in duration. More than 15 minutes, you suspect it's myocardial infarction. Okay? So it's important to note the time and the relief of your angina or your chest pain in general. Okay? To determine if it is angina pectoris or probably an ongoing myocardial infarction. So let's look at the diagnostic test we use to see if it's angina pectoris or myocardial infarction kasi we have to really determine the two apart from each other. Number one is your electrocardiogram or your EKG. Electrocardiogram pa rin naman ang meaning niyan. This one, nurses, please take note. This is the fastest way to catch an angina pectoris or a myocardial infarction. So, angina or MI. Okay? Note the word na ginamit ko guys, catch, para makita mo kung MI ba yan or angina. But is this electrocardiogram confirmatory? No, it's not confirmatory. It's just the fastest way to detect if that's angina or MI. But is that confirmatory? Again, no. No, it will just lead you to suspect that this might be angina or MI. Okay? It's just the fastest way to know. Okay? To suspect. Okay? So guys, pag angina yan guys, what will you see? T wave inversion. So, the usual deflection of your T wave dapat pataas. Tama? Pero ang T wave inversion, it is present in myocardial ischemia like your angina pectoris. So, pababa ang deflection ng T wave mo. Yan is the first wave you see. And then the second one is you see ST depression. So, normally guys, yung ST mo, that is isometric. Line lang yan siya. It's not elevated, nor is it depressed. So if it's depressed, so it indicates there's also myocardial ischemia ongoing. So these two, they tell you ischemia in the myocardial cells or the muscle layer of the heart, which indicates angina pectoris. Tama? Yes. And number two, guys, the one that's so important to confirm angina, confirmatory to, that's your cardiac biomarker. Ayan. So, when you say cardiac biomarker, whatever kind of cell in the body, when they die, they will release all their contents from the insides. Your cells in the heart, especially in the myocardium, do they have special proteins and components inside? Yes. And when they die, like your myocardium, if your myocardium will die, will they release those contents in the bloodstream? Yes. So, cardiac biomarker like your troponin I. That one will signify that there is indeed death of your cardiac muscle tissue or your myocardial cells. Kasi saan mo lang makikita si troponin I? Sa cardiac cells mo lang yan siya makikita, particularly in the myocardium. So, in angina pectoris, this one is the gold standard to diagnose either angina pectoris or your myocardial infarction. Remember, in angina pectoris, troponin I should be negative. Negative. Wala dapat mamatay na cells sa angina pectoris. If your troponin I is positive, what's that? That's indicative of myocardial infarction. Gets? Yes. So guys, troponin I in angina pectoris should be negative. Okay? Negative. Kasi ano ang pinaka-importanting characterization ng angina mo? Oh, put it on a star. Remember this. There is no cell or tissue death in angina pectoris. This is just, again, a problem in the demand and supply in the myocardium and the cells and tissues of the myocardium. Okay? So, dapat negative ang trop-I mo. That one is confirmatory of your angina pectoris. If it's negative, that's angina. And then you see ST depression and T-wave inversion in the electrocardiogram, that's your angina. And then presents with chest pain, aba, classic angina. Yan talaga ang presentation niya. Okay? So now let's move on to the treatment naman or the management. So, when we manage angina pectoris, tulad ng laging sinasabi ko kanina pa, what's the best nursing? The best nursing management for angina pectoris is magpahinga. Okay? Rest. Kasi rest, this one will reduce the demand where? In the heart. And then in turn, it will increase the supply of circulation towards the myocardium. Okay? So guys, how do you do the rest? You stop activity, no? Istigil mo lahat ng ginagawa mo para ma-promote ang rest in angina pectoris. Tama? Yes. So pag stop mo activity mo, do whatever is the most convenient during the chest pain episode. So if you are outside in a park, in the mall, you allow the patient to sit in a safe environment. So, isit mo siya sa chair, okay? Isit mo siya sa pwedeng floor kung safe na umupo sa floor, okay? Pag nasa hospital ka, allow the patient to lie on the bed, okay? Pahigain mo siya sa bed to promote rest. That's the best nursing. Number 2, remember, you can give O2 supplementation. Bigyan mo siya ng oxygen supplementation via nasal cannula, and C, nasal cannula, yung independent nursing intervention mo when it comes to oxygen support, that's 1 to 2 liters per minute. Yan lang pwede mong ibigay as a nurse independently, 1 to 2 liters per minute via nasal cannula oxygen supplementation. Ma'am, can I give oxygen supplementation even in the absence of desaturations? Kahit 100% ang saturations na patient ko. Yes, you can. That oxygen supplementation can help the myocardium increase the supply of oxygenation. No, it will increase the sats of oxygen in the blood, so magdi-decrease yung workload ng heart. Okay, and then you can increase the oxygenation of the myocardium as well to prevent the chest pain. Correct? Yes. And then number 3, guys, yung dinidiscuss ko kanina pa, yung drug natin, yung wonder drug natin, and that's your nitroglycerin. Tama? So remember, nitroglycerin, that's your drug of choice for angina pectoris. Nitroglycerin. So guys, ano yung mga examples ng nitroglycerin mo guys? Your ISDN, that's your isosorbide dinitrate. And then ISMN, o yan naman si isosorbide mononitrate. So that one, ano ba ang ginagawa ng nitroglycerin mo sa angina? Bakit siya drug of choice? Kasi this one, it will vasodilate your blood vessels. So, pag vasodilated ang blood vessels mo, mas makakadaan ba ngayon ang blood dyan? Yes. So, mas maayos ba ang circulation sa coronary arteries? The arteries that supply circulation to your myocardium? Yes. Okay? So, can that really solve your chest pain if it's angina pectoris? Yes. Okay? That's why nitroglycerin is a drug of choice kasi it can provide relief of chest pain in angina in a patient suffering from angina pectoris. Okay? Remember, pag sinabing nitroglycerin, we have different kinds of routes to administer nitroglycerin. The first and very common is your sublingual route. Guys, bakit sobrang common is sublingual route? I want you to note. This one, it promotes a fast absorption of your nitroglycerin in the body. Kasi ilalagay mo siya sa ilalim lang ng dila mo. Okay? And then this one is also very convenient. Kasi this can be done even if you are outside the hospital. Kasi hindi mo kailangan mag-establish ng intravenous line, no? Hindi mo kailangan swaruhan ng pasyente mo. Lagay mo lang sa ilalim ng dila niya. Tama? Yes. So pag sublingual route yan, guys, that's fast and convenient. And what do I want you to know when it's sublingual route, guys? You allow the patient to put it under the tongue and let it dissolve. Let it dissolve kasi sublingual naman ang route. Huwag niyang lunukin. Do not swallow. Do not drink with water. Let it dissolve under the tongue. And the patient can crush the medication. For faster effect, they can crush it. Yes, they can crush the pill. And then remember, if it's sublingual route, you can take even before your 5 E's. So, for example, ikaw ay may angina pectoris, tapos mag-gardening ka. So, you know, gardening can promote chest pain sa'yo as your usual activity. Nag-chest pain ka kapag nag-gardening ka. So, can you take sublingual nitroglycerin before doing your activity of gardening para maiwasan ang chest pain? Yes, precisely. You can take it before doing the 5 E's or the triggers of your chest pain. Okay? Pwede yan gawin. And then guys, note what's the max dose. The max dose is 3 tabs for nitroglycerin sublingual. And then what's the interval of each tablet? Dapat 5 minutes apart from each other. Okay? Do not give it less than or more than 5 minutes to achieve the therapeutic effect to lessen the chest pain or para mawala ang chest pain ng patient mo. Okay? And guys, what do I want you to know when it comes to sublingual route and when it comes to nitroglycerin? Lagyan mo ng star. This is the favorite in boards and even in NCLEX. Guys, ano ang side effect ng nitroglycerin? O, wag mong kalimutan, ilagay mo sa noo mo. The side effect is what? headache. The patient will most likely complain of headache. Kasi nga, di ba, it will vasodilate. Yes. Can it also vasodilate the vessels of the head? Yes. Can that promote headache? Yes. Okay. So, pag nag-complain ng headache ang pasyente, anong gagawin mo as a nurse? Itigil mo na ba ang nitroglycerin? No, do not withhold nitroglycerin in headache. That's a normal and expected side effect. What you do is to treat the headache, you give your acetaminophen or your Tylenol to solve the headache of the patient. Okay? So when the patient complains of headache during nitroglycerin treatment, what's your nursing action? Administer acetaminophen as ordered by the physician. Syempre, dapat as ordered by the doctor. Okay? As ordered by the doctor. Next, guys, put another star. Ano naman ang kanyang contraindication? Kailan ka hindi magbibigay ng nitroglycerin? Again, this is a favorite in the board exam and even in NCLEX. Ano yan? Pag ang patient mo ay hypotensive. Please do not forget. Pag bagsak ang blood pressure, wag mong ibigay. What's that? Pag less than 90/60 milliliters per mercury, you should withhold your nitroglycerin. Do not give. Pag ang patient hypotensive. Now, I know what you have in mind. Ma'am, paano naman pag hypertensive ang pasyente ko? Anong gagawin ko sa nitroglycerin dose niya? Give the nitroglycerin. Kasi nitroglycerin, vasodilator ba? Yes. So, can that reduce the hypertension of the patient? Pag dinasodilate mo ang mga blood vessels niya, bababa ang blood pressure. Yes. Okay? Kasi ano yung gusto kong tandaan mo talaga, guys, when it comes to the physiology of the vessels and your pressure, your blood pressure. Sabi ko on my previous video, di ba? When you are vasoconstricted, the pressure of the blood goes up. But when you are vasodilated, the pressure of the blood goes down. Okay? So pag mag-vasodilate with nitroglycerin, it can solve hypertension. No? It can help, in fact, your hypertension. Okay? Yan. And number 2, what's the next route? That's your transdermal route. From the word itself, transdermal, sa skin mo yan nilalagay. It's a patch. It's a skin patch with nitroglycerin na nilalagay mo sa skin. So, remember guys, pag nag-transdermal route ka, dapat ito ilagay mo saan? Sa intact skin. Bawal ilagay sa skin na may impaired skin integrity, may sugat, may burns, may abrasions, bawal. Why? Kasi it can affect the absorption of the drug towards that impaired skin. Dapat intact ang skin, okay? Para hindi ma-alter ang drug absorption. And then guys, ano pa? Dapat pag ang patient is hairy. Usually kasi sa chest yan nilalagay. So pag hairy ang chest ng pasyente, anong gagawin mo? You should clip the hair. Clip ba? Cut, okay? Clip, cut, trim. O yan ang terms. Clip the hair, no? Using your scissors. Do not use shaver. Wag mo yan i-shave. Kasi pag nag-shave ka, guys, can that promote micro-abrasions, micro-cuts on the skin? Yes. And can in turn impair the skin integrity. Yes. And in an impaired skin integrity, can that alter the absorption of your transdermal patch, nitroglycerin? Yes. Okay, that's why you have to just cut it. Do not use shaver. Okay? And guys, anong gusto kong tandaan mo dito sa transdermal patch? This one gives you a sustained release of the medication. Meaning, pwede mo siyang gawing maintenance during the maintenance stage of your angina pectoris. So, sino yung pwedeng gamitin sa acute? Kapag ngayon nag-chest pain ka ng severe, pwede mong gamitin sublingual route kasi fast and convenient. Pwede din intravenous route. Tama? Kasi fastest route yan. Pero kapag maintenance na, no, kasi ang patient mo meron na siyang chronic chest pain, anong pwedeng gamitin? Patch. Kasi ano yan? Sustained release and can be used safely as maintenance. And what do you have to note here, guys? Dapat, as a nurse, nursing intervention mo, rotate the patching site. Why do we have to rotate the patch? This is to prevent skin breakdown. So, rotate the patching site. And then, guys, another important thing, lagyan mo ng star, okay? Dapat, pag patch ang gamit mo, transdermal route, you should remove when the patient is asleep. Okay, kung kailan siya natutulog or during nighttime. Oh, bakit ko sinabing asleep and nighttime separately? Kasi, paano pag nagjo-duty pala siya sa gabi, tapos tulog siya sa umaga? Okay? So, pag asleep siya sa umaga, tanggalin mo na. Okay? Pag gabi naman siya natutulog, edi remove it at night. Okay? Why is that? This is to prevent build up of tolerance towards your nitroglycerin patch. Pag sinabi mong tolerance, ganito yan. Pag nag-chest pain siya, binigyan mo ng patch, okay, nag-work sa kanya. Pero pag hindi mo tinanggal ang patch, sinanay mo siyang laging may patch, eventually, the patient will build tolerance. So, mas kailangan niya ngayon ng higher dose of that medication just to get a therapeutic effect. Okay? That's what tolerance means. So, ngayon, isang patch lang gamit mo, okay na, na-relieve ng chest pain niya, pero hindi mo nire-remove yung patch at night, hinahayaan mo lang siya dyan forever nakadikit. What happens? The patient will build tolerance. So, ang nangyayari sa patient mo ngayon, to relieve chest pain, mas kailangan niya ng more patches. So, kailangan niya ng 2 patch, 3 patches, just to remove the chest pain. So, that's tolerance. So, you don't want that to happen to your patient. You don't want your patient to build tolerance against your nitroglycerin, remove it kapag sila ay natutulog or kapag gabi. Kasi during night and when they are sleeping, wala naman silang activity na ginagawa or 5 E's that can trigger chest pain. Tama? Yes. Okay? So, you can safely remove that at night or when the patient is sleeping. And then lastly, guys, yung last route na meron tayo, that's your intravenous. So, pag intravenous route, that one, please take note, is the fastest of all. Kasi sa ugat ba diretso yan? Yes. So can that directly vasodilate the veins? Yes. The blood vessels? Yes. So guys, eto guys, lagyan mo ng star. That one you have to really watch out for. Close monitoring mo ang close monitor ang kanyang blood pressure. Kasi ang patient pwedeng mag-hypotensive. Pwedeng bumagsak ang BP dahil sa severe vasodilation brought about by your nitroglycerin. So, dapat ang heavy monitoring mo dito nasaan? Sa blood pressure. And again, guys, pag intravenous route, ito ang gusto kong tandaan mo. You should wrap the tubings. Kasi this one is very photosensitive. Okay, photosensitive. So, same lang yan, guys. Ang patch, ang sublingual, pati ang intravenous route ng nitroglycerin. Si nitroglycerin kasi mismo, very photosensitive siya. So, pag natamaan niya ng light from the sun, okay, syempre from the sun, pag natamaan niya ng sunlight, ang nangyayari is nagre-reduce ang therapeutic effect niya. Hindi na siya nakakawala ng chest pain. Okay, nawawala yung bisa. So, kailangan you wrap it para hindi matrigger ang kanyang pagiging photosensitive. Okay? So guys, don't forget, uulitin ko ha, ang iyong nitroglycerin notes. Let me just emphasize, ano ang side effect para hindi mo makalimutan forever. Ang side effect niya is headache. Tama? Yes. So, pag nag-headache ang patient, ano ibibigay mo? Acetaminophen. Ano pa guys? You can take your nitroglycerin before chest pain or before 5 E's. Correct? Yes. Ano pa guys? This one is very photosensitive, no? Maging transdermal man yan, sublingual man yan, or intravenous. Photosensitive. Dapat iwasan sa gamot ang sunlight. Huwag mong itama sa sunlight ang gamot na yan kasi mawawalan siya ng effect. And guys, ito pa, ano ang shelf life ng iyong nitroglycerin? Ang shelf life niya, it is only good for 6 months. So, pag more than 6 months ng nitroglycerin sa cabinet mo, palitan mo na yan, wala na yung bisa. Okay? Kasi 6 months lang ang shelf life nila. Yan lang yung duration of therapeutic effect niya. And then after that, para siyang expired na gamot na. Okay? Expired na gamot na siya. And then, ulitin ko na naman, ano ang contraindication niya? Huwag mong ibigay if the patient is hypotensive. So, ano dapat mong i-monitor before administering nitroglycerin? Ang blood pressure ng patient, dapat it's not less than 90/60. If it's less than 90/60, you should withhold your nitroglycerin. Lastly, if the chest pain is unrelieved, hindi nawala despite your 3 doses of nitroglycerin, a chest pain that is unrelieved by nitroglycerin, you should go to the ER because that may be myocardial infarction. Okay? Kasi ang characteristic lang ng angina pectoris mo, dapat it is relieved by rest and nitroglycerin. And it should not be more than 15 minutes. If it's more than 15 minutes, that's probably myocardial infarction. Go to the nearest hospital and get yourself checked. That's all. Hope you learned about angina pectoris. Bye!